Aita for making my husband feel like shit about having his mom over for dinner? My husband and I have been together for 6 years and combined we have 4 kids. My step babies are 12 and 10, my bio babies are 9 and 3 mo. Obviously the youngest is our together baby. Now, since I gave birth I have had a very hard time eating. I can be super hungry, but more often than not if I actually think about eating I feel super nauseated or just grossed out and can't actually bring myself to eat actual meals. Stuff like crackers or finger foods are fine, but big meals really just sicken me, the thought of eating it anyways. So since I had our daughter I have eaten a total of maybe 5 hot meals. Yes, I absolutely have been in full contact with doctors and they are monitoring me and we are trying to come up with a game plan. But anyways, given this, I hardly ever eat dinner. I usually cook it, plate it out for my husband and kids and then leave my plate empty because I can't stomach it. But here's where I could be wrong. My husband knows I have a very hard time eating. Most days he tries force-feeding me honestly. But yesterday I texted him and said making shepherd's pie tonight, drooling face, I can't wait. I didn't say that I was going to eat, so maybe that's where I went wrong? But on the other hand I never text him with a drooling emoji after saying I'm making something either, so maybe he should have picked up on that? Ig. I was starving anyways and I was actually looking forward to having dinner. So I get done cooking and call everyone to the table as I usually do, and next thing I know my MIL is walking through the door saying I hope I'm not late, and then sits down in my seat and grabs the extra plate meant for me. I guess I was kind of shell-shocked? Because I just stood there. I didn't even know what to say. My MIL just started digging into the dish. Before my kids were even served too, which pissed me the fuck off. I also don't like saying out-of-pocket things in front of my kids either, so I just told them to dig in and started walking off. My stepson, 12, whispered, "But Dad, I think Mom was going to eat tonight," and my husband says, "Babe, were you going to eat tonight? You can take my helping." And I just ignored him because I was so mad that I couldn't say anything at that moment. I needed to cool off. I did tell my stepson it's fine with a smile, and I went in the other room. Well, after MIL left my husband came out and asked me what that was about and said, "You could have taken my meal, babe, it's not a big deal." I kind of snapped and said he never should have even invited his mom over to eat without asking me, without knowing if I was hungry or not. I brought up the fact that I literally texted him a drooling emoji, indicating that I was hungry or excited for the meal. He just said, "Yeah, but you never eat." Now I feel like a fucking loser. Thanks. And walks off. My stepson unfortunately heard this and he came out with his plate and handed it to me and said, "I stole some more before it was eaten so you could have some, Mum." Literally the sweetest fucking kid ever, I swear. But now I feel like an because I truly do never eat hot meals, so it was safe for my husband to assume last night would be no different, and the fact that my stepson felt he needed to do something about it as well. Aita? My husband is still sulking over this. ETA, I only made enough for the people who were supposed to be here, myself included. I always make myself a portion even though I never know how I'm going to feel about eating. But every night I only make enough for us. My husband knows this because there's never any leftovers. The portion my stepson brought me was maybe a half scoop. As for MIL, she always does stuff like that. In her eyes, adults come first, hence why she grabbed food before kids had been served, because the adults worked all day. My husband doesn't hold the same view but never speaks up to her when she does it. My MIL and I don't get along and never have, so she probably wouldn't have cared if she knew I wanted to eat. We don't speak usually. Also, her taking my seat means there was nowhere else to sit. I had no other option than to leave the room because despite my husband offering me his serving, he stayed seated and was dishing out his plate without looking at me while he was offering it. I know him well enough to know that means he was hungry and was banking on eating regardless of having offered up his plate.